Was there any sort of hairy moments where you thought, oh my God, I'm in over my head here, or I'm doing things I don't want to do? So for instance, like with me with accounting, I hate accounting. I was sitting with my accountant today, it's like, I just hate it when she comes in. I just don't like this job at all. I just absolutely hate it. I'm a salesperson like you. Was there any aspects of the job where you thought, actually, I've got to get involved in stuff that I don't like and you're having to get involved in?
Similar to you. I mean, when you start that company and you pay your 12 quid on company's house and it's set up, you think it's too easy. And then when you get to VAT registration and suddenly you get onto this part and you realise the different elements you've got to bring in from HR through to systems, personnel, through engineering. For us, absolutely, that was very early on, very apparent early on. I think I hired some great people along the way that potentially had the skill sets that I didn't have, and that was a key thing. And they've stuck with the business and they've done really well. So being able to have the confidence and trust that that person's accountable for that element of the business. Like I'm here today, right? That team will continue to operate, and I've got every element of trust in my team. And I think that's a key thing for me, right? You can't do everything in an organisation. You need to know who's good at that skill set. So I've never been one who particularly likes spreadsheets, particularly like the formulas of spreadsheets. So it's not my world. But one of my other directors, Louise, ace on spreadsheets, right? She can make it sing, and that for me again is a huge amount of value. So it's different expertise along the way we'll be able to mitigate some of this. But yeah, at the start, I mean, Christ, when you're trying to do everything, I remember at the early stages, myself and one other, you'd pick up the phone, almost in a different voice, going, hello, and then you pass it through to Ollie, right? Yeah. Hello! Try to be slightly more than you are as an organisation. But thankfully, we're past those moments now.
And for you now, if you were going to give the listeners a sort of like the day-to-day of what you do, are you still very much in sales, or is it more operations, or is it a mixture of both? Because as an MD of a small growing organisation that's having double-digit growth, whatever it is, most people tend to wear a lot of hats, but what do you prefer? What's your day-to-day job like?
So a lot of it, with the growth that we're experiencing, some 70% last year, over 120% run for this year, it's about trying to plan for that future. And a lot of that is big thinking, right? And making sure that we're ahead of the next stage so we don't slow down. Another part of my role, more recently, has been a lot of recruitment, right? Trying to identify the right people, headhunt the right people to keep taking us on this journey, who I can see as valuable additions to the business. Yeah. There is still massively that sales part. So I was over in Miami last week, speaking on a panel over there about international partnerships and sustainability. So trying to be the face of the brand and spending a lot of time with our key clients who may look at ITAD more strategically rather than just getting rid of waste. It's how does it link in with everything else we're doing as an organisation. We're on this journey where, yes, we're an ITAD, but we're winning more and more managed service contracts. The reality is at ITAD level, you've got your people, your process, your premises. Now that's the baseline for configuration services, for level 1 engineering services, for support requests. So it's about trying to look at how else we diversify from a services standpoint.
Talking of recruitment, Ollie, startup mentality, niche market, growing market. What's your thoughts on flexibility, working from home, etc.? Because as a startup, I wouldn't even call you a startup now, you're more established. But if you are on that recruitment growth, there must be people coming to you saying, oh, actually, I'd like to come work for you, but I want X basic and I want to work here and I want to work from home, etc. Obviously, when you're a startup phase, they might not know the industry, they might not know what they're talking about. How do you sort of balance it where you're thinking, yeah, you could be a good asset, but actually you're going to be on my OPEX and you could be causing me a problem?
I think for those that are more tenured and they've proven themselves and they need that ability to work elsewhere, and otherwise potentially we wouldn't get them. What I mean is, our head of remarketing lives down in Exeter. Yeah. Our new head of service delivery lives near the Cotswolds. So it's this idea of they're not going to make the move near you. How can the company flex for them? But they've proven themselves, they're tenured, and each of them actually still wants to come into the office, right? They still want to be part of the company culture. They're just not going to be there day in, day out. As I mentioned earlier, if you're new to the industry, or perhaps you maybe are more unproven in previous roles, our expectation at the starting point is you embrace the culture that we have and you join us in the office wherever possible. Again, we'll always be flexible. We'll always allow that element of remote working to support private ambitions, private things that they're doing. But you want your team teaching your team, right? And we haven't invested. I go to work. If I'm not at client meetings, I'm not working internationally, I'm not on site, I'm in the office. But I enjoy being in the office. I enjoy the comradeship. I enjoy spending time with the teams. And hopefully the right members of the team, the ones that we want to attract, they'll enjoy it as well. And with that comes, unlimited opportunities. There's people in our organisation that in the space of 2 years have tripled their salaries. Wow! If we see commitment to the cause and working with CAE for the greater good and helping KOcycle for the greater good and being able to help us reach our ambitions, there's a lot of rewards in it for them as well.
Yeah. What's your view on the recent trial around the UK around the 4-day working week? Because again, I cycle my soapbox when I go into this, because I always sort of say everyone in August now is like working from home, or as I call it, working from Ibiza, because there's a bloody international dial tone. So everyone wants to work from home or work from holiday or whatever they're doing. What's your view on this? Because I'm seeing now loads of PR spin going on LinkedIn saying 4-day week or 9 days out of 10. Basically, you can come and work here and you can work from Marbella for 6 months and hit target and don't have to do any work, and we'll give you a taxi home at the end of the day. So, what's your view on what's going on in the market? Because it's to me, it's bonkers at the moment.
So if you've got 26 days annual leave a year, you've got half a year, then 4 days a week if you want, is my opinion. I don't mean to sound like Scrooge when I say that, but use your annual leave if you want the 4-day working week. 4-day working week simply couldn't work for our organisation. It might work on the front end, when I say the front end, service delivery, office-based functions. We've got a facility. Last year we cycled in excess of 120,000 pieces of equipment. Each one of those needs to be processed, tested, inventorized. There's a certain amount of output you've got to achieve for the business to be profitable, for the business to continue to grow. I see it time and time again on LinkedIn, like yourself, Brian. It's, I'm working a 4-day working week, but my phone's still available on the Friday. What does that mean? You're just working remotely on the Friday, aren't you? I think I see a lot of people doing it for publicity.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how it would work in practice. Would I, as a business owner, want to work 4 days a week when you're sitting there missing 20% of the opportunity? Not really. And I think clients eventually, in one degree or another, if you set that as the precedent, as everyone's on a 4-day working week, when they really need something that Friday and it's urgent to them and it's a P1 issue and they're relying on you, and sorry, maybe we work a 4-day working week.
Yeah, come on, man.
I
don't want to deal with this weekend.
That client's gone. So I could see, for certain potentially verticals, it could work better if you jam your hours into the 4 days. But for us as a business, no, right? We want to be there for our clients, and you as a business owner as well. You always try and concentrate on a bit of work-life balance. But I'll find myself sometimes working into the weekend, so I get ahead of the week. So the idea of being able to consolidate to 4 days, it's ludicrous to me personally.
Yeah. By the way, listeners, we're not going to have to work 6 days at KOcycle. He's not advocating that. You don't have to work weekends. You do get a weekend off.
Absolutely.
So tell me about what's going to be the plans for the next sort of 12 months, because it's an exciting time for you. You said about hiring as well. So where do you see KOcycle for the next sort of 2023? Where's it going?
Sure. So we've got 4 major transformational projects at the moment. We've got our new ERP system, end-to-end system coming in. We've done about 7 months work on this. Different stakeholders in the business are heavily involved. We've got our new website and client portal. So again, the new who are KOcycle, the update, the brands we're working with, the new case studies, a lot more around our managed service practice and where we see that going. We have a lot of people coming on board, and I'm really hoping you guys help us out with that. But we've got ambitions to keep hiring at the rate we're hiring currently. And the 4th one, and the major one, is our premises, right? We're taking over a world-class facility. This is a threefold the size we have now. A massive space, massive commitment for the company, 5-year lease, but it puts us up there with the best at what they do in terms of ITAD. So again, some really exciting pieces. At the moment, spinning all 4 has been a bit time consuming, but yeah, really lucky with my other directors and the management team. They're all playing their part in that. And I think they all feel as if they're helping to drive that change as well. And that's where you want them all, bought into it.
Absolutely. Sounds really exciting. My last question for you. Now, I did ask you this at lunch because I do reference this a lot, because when Neil Burton came on the show, he told me a funny story that happened in an interview, and it had been stitches for weeks. And I sort of said, can anyone beat this? Now, I think your story's up there, right? So, have you got a funny story where you've either been an interviewer or an interviewee, and something happened as funny something's happened funny in the interview, or a strange story?
Sure. I know what you're referring to. So yeah, hiring for KOcycle in the early days, we went to meet someone, and they shall not be named. They still work in the channel now. Down in Pitch and Piano in Corn Street, to understand how they could add value to our business. Near Bank, correct? Yeah. And I recognised the guy from LinkedIn. So the minute I came in, and I was thinking, "Are you all right? Is he all right? He's sitting there, he's falling on his chair."
He's falling on his chair.
Yeah, like kind of sinking into his chair like this, right? So I thought, okay, can I get you a drink at all? And it was no kind of sentence back other than beer, please, like this. All right,
Stop it.
I'll go to the beer. Star of Ramen, okay? Star of Ramen. Kind of made a decision for him. got the 2 Star of Ramen from the bar and walked over to him. He sits like this in his chair, gets back up and goes, "I've got a level with you, Ollie. Been on the ketamine today."
Stop it.
For me,
Stop it.
so I don't mind if someone's had a bit of a joy before the interview or they wanted a beer to calm their nerves. But you're sitting there and you're going, you're sitting there and going, I don't think I could. There's no opportunity here for you. So I was quick to down that beer. Didn't get much out of him.
He told you that?
Yeah.
Oh my God,
he got
please
that,
don't say
he got
anything.
that realisation of it was going to be found out anyway. He had to be honest with me about it.
Stop
But yeah, it still sits in my head as probably the worst.
Did you offer him the job?
No, did not.
Oh, he's not going to be the right
interviewee ever. But interestingly, actually, it was the Monday afterwards. He messaged me again on LinkedIn. I really feel sorry for him. Hopefully, he knows.
I can't wait for this.
No.
I'm going to have to try and identify who this is now.
And he asked me on the Monday on the LinkedIn and said to me, so, pretty sure that didn't go the best. Can we line this up for this week? And I thought, no, that's it. I said, maybe not right for us, mate.
Oh, dear,
so
that's
that was
brilliant.
an experience, yeah.
Oh, Ollie, that's brilliant. Ollie, you've been a fabulous guest.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks so much for your
Appreciate it.
time.
Thank you very much. Cheers, mate.